Okay, hello, this is Adam Castle from K2. In this example, I'm going to show you the employee onboarding solution. Okay, so by now you've logged into your portal. Okay, we can see, of course, the menu along the top. Okay, we have a small dashboard in terms of the tasks. We have our work list, and then we have my current processes. So processes that I've actually started. You should have access to the HR portal button. Click on that. Okay, and this brings you into a new page that focuses on mainly the HR tasks. Okay, so we have holidays and staff. So holidays, of course, leave requests, things like that. As you take more and more leave, you will see, of course, a list below start to increase in the number of items. And also the leave taken, this little gauge here, will of course also increase with your maximum leave being 20. There's some other ideas we're throwing into here. So policies. So in this case, policies can be, you can click on these items, which are your employee policies, and they're actually going to start a workflow. No, sorry, not a workflow. A video in the iframe below. So just some ideas that you can kind of start to implement with your solutions. So when I click on staff, okay, in this case we want to employ a permanent person. Okay, we have the ability to onboard an employee or a contractor. We can see, of course, existing processes or existing employee processes that have been started already. Okay, we can see contractors. Okay, so in this case we can see the contractors when they've been employed and of course when their actual contract finishes. In this case, because his contract's already been finished, however, if you wanted to, you could click on the item and renew the contract. So some of the functionality that exists within this solution. We have also some generic tasks that you can do within this as well. Okay, just creating ad hoc tasks related to the employee onboarding solution or process. So I want to onboard a new person called Bob Smith. Okay, and let's scroll down here. Title, I'm just going to call it Mr. Bob Smith. Give him a date of birth. Okay, male. Just put in a phone number if you want as well. Okay, and we'll just call him Bob Smith at gmail.com. And just going to do a quick check within the system just to make sure that this guy is actually unique. Okay, so then we have the ability, of course, to the requirement to add the address. We can, in this case, just type in the address. Okay, and then actually bring the address in from the autocomplete control. This just actually looks up a Google address lookup system. We have the employee number that we can enter. Okay, and then we have the manager. So the manager is going to be a list of employees within the organization that you're logged into. Okay, so in this case we have 4 people within this organization. Okay. Okay, and we're going to select the department. So departments, as you may have just seen below within the role, okay, we have 3 roles there. Okay, sales. Okay, we can actually have like a cascading drop down. So in this case, maybe we're looking into our back-end system to bring out a list of departments and their available roles. Position type, maybe permanent contract. If we are contract, we can then see another end date. Okay, calendar control appears that we can actually specify the end date. And as you saw before, when that end date comes close, we can then start another process just to kind of remind people that the contract's finishing very soon. So we want to specify the start date as tomorrow. Okay, role description if you want, you can do that as well. Okay, so now what we can do is we can click on the next tab. So this tab will show us some information about the IT access requirements. Okay, so there's a little bit of information up here. Okay, about different requirements, and if we need to add some system access, we can specify network drives, email distribution groups, generic Outlook, mailboxes. It's kind of up to you, what you want to provide to the new user. Okay, so we have the ability to maybe they require special internet access. When I select on this, and when we look at the view flow later on, we will actually see a sub-process will start. Okay, because I've actually selected this. So there's a line that kind of says, okay, is internet access required? If it is, go inside the sub-process, and that can be dealt with separately. Okay, say remote living remotely. Okay, VPN access. Okay, and then we have application access as well. So which applications will they need access to? Okay, so we can select these. Of course, this once again could come from a list that you can maintain, but this can just be a list of systems that the different users would actually need access to do their day-to-day job. We have equipment and facilities. So are they using an existing PC? If we click on no, we can see this item's read-only. Otherwise, yes, we can now actually type in the PC asset number of that item. And it's a desktop. Okay, so we're happy with that. Are they using existing IT hardware? Okay, so if we look up the top right-hand corner, we can see these items up here are now disabled. If we click on yes, okay, they're now enabled. We can now add some asset numbers if we want. We may also wish to order new IT hardware. Okay, in this case, we're going to click on yes, and you can now see this new view appears. Let's do that again. Okay, so this view is a list of potential items that I can order. Okay, and once we submit this form, we can then actually go and start a purchase order process with these items. So when I select, we want maybe a mouse. Okay, and maybe a printer as well. So we're happy with that. Mobile phone selection. Okay, fantastic. So we're happy with that. Other locations, buildings, floors, these kinds of things you can specify, and maybe documents as well. So maybe you want to add the CV of the person, or maybe a scanned copy of the passport, things like that. You can then actually add into this employee process. We're happy with this. When I click on submit. Okay, so I've saved the data away, and we've now started the K2 process, and we can see the reference number here, 2045. Okay, we're going to click on OK. So we can now actually see the process has started. Okay, and if we click on this icon over here, okay, we can then see the view flow and what's actually occurring within our process. Okay, so we can see the process has started. It's actually created an employee within Active Directory. Okay, it actually creates them a mailbox as well, and it then comes down to these different stages. So there's facilities management, HR, security, and also IT authorization. Okay, some of these tasks are actually, they're not real, but they're kind of just simulating a task and the task then being completed. And what you're going to notice is as these tasks are completed and they come down to the employee information validation activity, we're going to wait until all these tasks are complete before we continue on. So you can see we've branched off to parallel tasks, and then we're just going to wait till they're all complete. If you remember back on the form, we selected that we require special internet access. Okay, and you can now see this line is now has been followed, and there's a some process behind this that has actually started, and this is being completed by another team already. It's got nothing to do with us, but we can of course then see what's happened. Okay, so we're happy with that. So let's now go back to our main form. Okay, what we can also do from here is if we double click, okay, at any stage of the process, we can now come back into our like employee onboarding view, okay, and actually see what's occurring. So we can see information about, of course, our employee, and also the IT requirements, equipment requirements, documents, okay, and maybe some ad hoc tasks or messages that have actually been logged against the onboarding of this employee. Okay, back at the screen here, I'm just going to click on Home, which will actually then take us to our main dashboard. So in this case, I want to use the same user that's going to open up all the tasks. However, of course, in other scenarios, you would have other users fulfilling this task as part of the process. So I'm going to open up the IT authorization form. Okay, so we have some more information on the top. Okay, information about the employee. So we're happy about this. IT requirements, we can go through these. These are all the ones that we completed before. Okay, additional comments. Maybe all done. Okay, so we're happy with that. And just going to submit that. Okay, so that has now moved the process on from the IT authorization process down to the IT provisioning process or stage. Okay, so that will refresh in a few seconds. Okay, we'll just give it a little. There you go, it did actually move just before I did that. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so once again, we now have the IT provisioning stage. Okay, so this is what you saw before as well. However, in this case, okay, someone's received a task. Okay, they need to do quite a bit. Okay, so we're not going to force them to change the form or fill in the form as they need to and then submit it, because it may take quite a long time for different parts to be completed. So they may select mobile phones being configured. Okay, we've got the phone number. Okay, but we haven't been able to actually test it yet. Software, maybe the software for the laptop's been installed. Okay, maybe all this is done, but once again, we're still waiting for that phone. So in this case, we're just going to click on Save. Okay, and that's it, nice and easy. And if you look at this task is still here, and when that information or that activity is then complete, in terms of testing, we can then reopen this task. We can see my information is still here, it's still been saved. Okay, I'm just going to select yes, it has been tested, and we're then happy to move on. Okay, fantastic. Okay, you can now see once again this one's complete and it's moved on. So I'm not going to worry about the next one. It's just going to be the same kind of form as you saw before. Now what we can do is, if we come back into this view of the employee onboarding process of this user, okay, you may have actually seen at the end these 3 items here. So this main one in particular, ad hoc tasks. So these can be used for tasks that, of course, aren't part of the day-to-day process. So the ad hoc, they're just kind of on demand. We need a process or a task for someone to do X, Y, Z. In this case, we may say, okay, you know what? We're going to click on add task. We're going to specify who it's going to go to. In this case, I'm just going to say myself. It knows what the actual, the related parent process is. I'll specify priority as well. Okay, in this case I want to say needs an iPad, needs iPad for work. Okay, and the due date is, say, the 25th. Click on submit. Okay. If I now select this again and click on refresh, we can now see we've actually started a sub-process, okay, and actually linked that sub-process to our main process. Once again, we would have actually assigned this task to someone else, and you can see this task here. Okay, if you look at the view flow for this, it is a completely separate process. However, in this case, we've just selected that this process should actually be related to this employee onboarding process. Okay, we're just going to action that to complete that item. Okay, okay, from here, so I think from here, everything should now be complete. It is not yet. We'll just select complete with that. Okay, so what's going to happen now is this item is now complete. Okay, it's going to come down to this stage, the employee information validation stage. Okay, it's going to check that all these other stages are complete, and then it's going to move on down to the payroll review and then the employee onboarding completed stage. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.